Returning to President Trump's visit to Hanoi for his second summit with North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, U.S. officials have been suggesting that Vietnam, a communist country that reconciled with the U.S. after a deadly war, could serve as a model for North Korea. As Nick Schifrin reports from Hanoi, Vietnam has come a very long way since that war, as has the U.S.-Vietnam relationship.
For the U.S., the Vietnam War ended 44 years ago, but 14-year-old Win Thuy Linh is still fighting it in every letter she tries to trace. Her and all these children's deformities are because of dioxin, better known as the toxin Agent Orange, dropped by the U.S. on their grandparents' villages. They are the second generation of their families born with physical and intellectual disabilities. Young Tay Win Tong looks and thinks as a 3-year-old. She's actually 17.
What will these children's future be like?
Win T1 is their teacher.
For them to become normal would be very difficult. They're still learning basic functions, like washing their face, washing their hair, and to teach them even that is a big thing. Some of them wouldn't know how to get home themselves.
During the Vietnam War, known here as the American War, the U.S. dropped more than 7 million tons of bombs, 3 times what it used in World War II. The violence killed 3 million and drove millions more from their villages. And U.S. planes sprayed Agent Orange to kill trees to expose fighters, affecting 4 million Vietnamese, including damaging their genes. But if American troops were the culprit, some became the redeemer. This place is known as Friendship Village, established by Vietnam veterans like Chuck Searcy.
So much of what we were doing was actually a part of an institutional lie.
Searcy deployed to Vietnam in 1967. He says he witnessed U.S. forces commit terrible acts, but didn't speak out. And so he and many veterans returned in the 1980s to turn former enemies into partners. Over the next decade, Americans and Vietnamese worked together to find remains of soldiers missing from the war, clear unexploded ordnance known as UXO, and clean up some of the Agent Orange left behind.
For many of us, being able to come back and do something that's positive and constructive and that's helping with the rebuilding and the reconciliation is very gratifying. And for many of us, it's the closure that's been needed for a long, long time.
And that closure gave the two countries an opening.
Once you have a model of working effectively with each other, many other things could become possible. So that's why I strongly believe that it set the foundation and it opened so many doors.
Tao Griffiths is the former Vietnam country director of the Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation. She worked with veterans and the Vietnamese military on projects like demining. She says confronting the war's legacies led to people-to-people exchanges. She worked with champions of reconciliation, including Senator Patrick Leahy, and she became a Fulbright Fellow, introducing Hillary Clinton. Today, the Fulbright program extends to government leadership. Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh is a Fulbright alumnus into this link. The next year, he joined the military unit that targets planes. Former Vietnamese soldier who won an Emmy for helping find Vietnamese characters for Ken Burns' recent series, The Vietnam War. Here's how he grew up.
In light of the once unimaginable prosperity and partnership we have with Vietnam today, I have a message for Chairman Kim Jong-un. President Trump believes your country can replicate this path. It's yours if you'll seize the moment. The miracle can be yours. It can be your miracle in North Korea as well.
Vu Tien-loc, who met Presidents Trump and China's Xi Jinping, as well as Kim Jong-il, the current leader's father, believes North Korea and Vietnam can have a shared past and future.
The journey of change between the U.S. and Vietnam, from enemies to partnership and friendship, can be a suggestion for the future of the relationship between the U.S. and North Korea, and we are willing to share our experience with North Korea.
I'd like the U.S. to start with having Korean trained in the U.S. like us 25 years ago.
63-year-old Ho Dong-hwa is a former Vietnamese soldier who won an Emmy for helping find Vietnamese characters for Ken Burns' recent series, The Vietnam War. Here's how he grew up.
We were trained, we were told that Americans are brutal, enemy, imperialists, and invaders of our country. And we have to learn how to hate American invaders.
But after the war, he too studied in the U.S. as a Fulbright scholar, and he says the U.S. should offer the same opportunity to North Koreans.
You will have the first batch of Korean learning, going to the U.S. during
destroyed a training camp for the group known as Jaish-e-Mohammed. That group claimed responsibility for
They have reunited with the parent that the kid was separated from, 2,155. Another 580 have been placed with family sponsors. 76 of those children are still in government custody. They can't be reunited because it would be unsafe to do so. And 5 children in their custody, they still haven't reunited. They said they're working to figure out if they can. But you keep in mind, this is at least 10 months those kids have now been in government custody.
And you were telling us, Amna, there was particularly troubling part of the hearing, line of questioning from Ted Deutsch, the congressman from Florida, saying there are HHS documents that indicate a number of these children were sexually abused. What is known about the validity?
Yeah, his line of questioning there got a lot of attention on social media too. He shared the documents with us and we went through them. What they do outline is a disturbing number of allegations over the 4 years from 2015, 16, 17, and 18. Almost 1,000 allegations each year of sexual abuse or assault or misconduct, many of them against the staff. We know there's reason to be concerned. We've had reporting in the past, even here on the show, where there have been a handful of staff at shelters who misused their power and who did sexually assault or act inappropriately with children. We know those are a handful of cases. And Commander White there also said every allegation is investigated. Every single thing we've looked into shows us most of those claims are unfounded. The bigger question in all of this, Judy, though, is all the things we still don't know at the end of this day. Were actually separated.
You do not know how many children were separated, beginning with the time that the policy was implemented in El Paso in July 2017, and when the policy was officially announced on April 6, 2018. Is that correct?
I don't have that number with me. It is a number that I can get.
A number Democrats will continue to pursue, along with other questions about the policy. The House Oversight Committee today ordered subpoenas for Attorney General William Barr, HHS Secretary Alex Azar, and Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen for further answers over the policy.